All right, excuse me. All right, so Rolly Romero and Teofimo Lopez is confirmed for the T-Mobile Arena in August 22nd. This will be the first fight Rolly's had since May of last year when he upset Ryan Garcia for the WBA welterweight title, but winning by unanimous points decision after dropping Ryan Garcia in the second round. This will be Tio's first fight at 147, and he's challenging Rolly for the WBA welterweight title. I, bruh, I, I really don't get it. Like, how is Tio lose a fight in convincing fashion against Shakur Stevenson? He moves up and gets a title shot for the WBA. He instantly gets ranked. Like, he doesn't have to do anything to work his way up the rankings. He doesn't have to fight for a WBA sanction bout or anything, pay sanction fees. No, he just moves up after coming off a clear loss, gets a ranking, and now he can fight Rawley for the title. Like, what the fuck is going on with boxing these days? It's like people that win end up getting fucked over, but people that lose end up getting rewarded. For example, Ryan Garcia himself, someone that Rawley had already beat him convincingly, 12 rounds unanimous decision. Ryan Garcia, not he doesn't move up, it's the same weight class, but Ryan Garcia comes back and now he gets a title shot against Mario Barrios, coming off a convincing loss. What? Mind you, after the Devin Haney thing, testing positive for Osterine and whatnot, and being suspended, he moves up from 140, 140, away he didn't even make weight for in that fight, and he gets a title shot even then as well. So he didn't lose the Devin Haney fight, but he gets rewarded moving up without having to work his way up. Like, what? Like, I really don't understand. I really don't understand boxing. Like, these guys just be getting rewarded with title shots for losing. Like, I really don't understand. You know, just all the fighters that in that weight class that paid sanctioning fees took part in sanctioned WBA fights probably, and they can't get a title shot, but Tio can just move up and get a title shot. Great. Now, as far as how this fight will go, some people are saying, yes, this is a great fight, this is amazing, blah, 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 blah. I think these guys are just going off name value. When was the last time Tio was involved in a fight of the year candidate? It was against George Kambosos. That fight was going on 5 years ago now. How many fights of Teofimo Lopez would you really go back and watch and really be extremely entertained by? That's the only fight I can think of. And then Rolly Romero, how many fight of the year candidates is he being in? None. None. So I don't understand how people think this is going to be such a great fight. Neither of those two have like really aggressive styles like that. You know what I mean? Like, Rolly isn't a high output fighter. Tio is not really a high output fighter himself. When the last time, like, come on, I really don't see how it would be that great of a fight. We're talking about knockouts. Rolly, he hasn't knocked out anyone convincingly since the Anthony Yigit fight. That was like, again, 5 years ago at this point. It was on the undercard of Jamel Charlo and Brian Castano. It was that long ago. Neither one of those two fighters I just mentioned are fighting anymore. You keep hearing about Jamel coming back and whatnot, but he hasn't fought in almost 3 years now. Castano is pretty much retired at this point. And then you got Tio. He hasn't had a knockout since the Pedro Campa fight back in 2022. You know, so I don't see what fight of the year or this crazy fight people are talking about. You know, I just think it won't be that great of a fight, to be honest with you. Rolly's fight against Ryan was a terrible fight. You know, like, even the fights where Rolly loses haven't been that entertaining. I mean, look at the Tank fight. It was a very low output fight until he got clipped. And then against Pitbull, I mean, yeah, he got his ass whooped. But, like, again, it wasn't a crazy back and forth banana burner, like, you know. So, yeah. And then you got Tio. The Shakur fight was terrible. and all the other fights that before then, like the Jermaine Ortiz fight and the Arnold Barboza fight, those aren't entertaining fights really either. You know, the Sandor Martin fight when I entertained, and the Josh Taylor fight, meh. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't think it's going to be this great fight people are talking about. Like, people are just looking at the names and they get excited, even though, for one, TU didn't do anything to deserve it. And two, like, these guys aren't really known for being really entertaining fighters. They don't really throw that many punches. I ain't saying the output is like as low as Tanks or Zhang Jilei's, but the output isn't crazy. You know, they haven't had a knockout in years between the two. You know, they're not really highly aggressive fighters like that either. You know, as far as who would win the fight, some people think that Rolly will win the fight. Like, they're very confident about it. I'm not too sure about that. Like, I think people have really like short memories when it comes to Rolly's career. Like, they look at him beating Ryan Garcia and make him become a better, like, make him seem like, can't even talk, make him out to be a better fighter than what he actually is, just based on that one fight. Like, all Rolly did in that fight was keep his right hand up and use a jab, and that was enough to beat Ryan Garcia. He's by keeping his right hand up. That's all he did. He didn't do anything that special. He kept his right hand up and he threw a jab, and that was enough to beat Ryan Garcia, because Ryan Garcia can't really do shit without that left hook in that fight. I know people may talk about, oh, the right hands landed on Barrios, this and that and the other. Barrios is a punch bag, bro. Like, look at all the other fights that Ryan Garcia's had in recent years and how often that right hand does like significant damage to opponent. It's usually his left hook that gets the job done. You know, but Mario Barrios is taking right hands all over the place. What else is there? So yeah, that's all Rolly did. But you look at the fights beforehand, he got beat the fuck up by Pitbull Cruz, beat the shit out of, who ended up getting schooled the next fight by Rayo Valenzuela, who doesn't usually fight that way in terms of boxing on the back foot. He usually don't fight that way. And Pitbull Cruz lost that fight easily. He was getting beaten up by Ismael Barroso, or Old Man. Old Man was sunning him. And then that ridiculous stoppage happened. And then you also get the fight before when he got knocked out by Tank. Not much happened. You know, some feel like Rolly may win the fight, but not really much was happening. And then he got clipped with a left hand. And then the Jackson Marinas fight, which happened years ago, back in 2020. I remember that. He got schooled in that fight. And he got a gift decision. Like, why are we making our Rolly be a better fighter than what he was just because of that Ryan Garcia fight? Why? You know, like, I'm not saying he can't win the TF fight, but I think people really have short memories on Rolly's career. You know, like, they're making out to be better than what he is just because of that one fight. That upset. But as far as I think he wins the fight, I think, look, I won't be like, Rolly obviously can win the fight, I think, but like, Tio is a better technical boxer than Rolly. Always has been. This the same man that had Lomachenko lagging. He had Lomachenko lagging all them years ago at the age of 23. He also upset Josh Taylor. You know, he won his championship against Richard Comey at the age of 23 years old. Like, you don't see as many like red flags in Tio's career as you do with Rolly Romero. Like, don't get me wrong, you could say like Tio maybe got, like, even the contentious decision that Tio got against Jermaine Ortiz wasn't anywhere near as contentious as the decision that Rolly got against Jackson Marinas. Like, people could argue that Tio maybe won the Jermaine Ortiz fight. It wasn't really that action packed, but there's no way you can make a case for Rolly winning against Jackson Marinas. Like, that is just crazy. What else? Tio was not getting beaten up by an old man, and the referee had to come in and stop the fight the moment that Rolly, like, Rolly threw any punches against the guy. And a knockdown being scored, which wasn't even a knockdown, it was a push. You know, like, Rolly, like, Tio didn't get beat up the way that Rolly did against Pitbull Cruz. That's what I'm trying to get. Like, Tio has always been a much technical boxer than Rolly Romero. Like, it's like Rolly was losing a fight to an old man. He got schooled by Jackson Marinas. He did not know what to do. You know, so like, I think Tio, most likely Tio wins this fight. I wouldn't actually, and even though I mentioned the point earlier on about, you know, not being a knockout in years between the two, I wouldn't be surprised if Tio scored a knockout against Rolly, and I'm gonna tell you why. The reason why I say that is because Rolly has never had the greatest chin of all time. He hasn't. You know, Rolly is. I won't really hold it against him for getting knocked out by Tank the way he did, but he also like he. How do I explain this? Like he was. Oh my god, he was all over the place against Pitbull Cruz. He was hurt all over the place. Pitbull's not a crazy puncher like that. He's not. He's not a crazy puncher. Like there's several times where Pitbull Cruz has hit guys clean, and they didn't go out the way Rolly did. I mean, how like he landed punches on Francisco Vargas. Francisco Vargas is the same guy that ended up getting knocked out in one round by Rayo Valenzuela not that long afterwards. Like Pitbull's not a crazy puncher. He's not. You know, he also got put down by Barroso, but Barroso can bang, to be fair. Was he seriously hurt in that fight? I can't remember. But I also do remember him as well, Rolly getting knocked down heavily by a featherweight in sparring all them years ago. I do remember that too. So I ain't gonna say his chin's glass. It's not, but he ain't got the greatest chin. You know, it seems like anytime like I don't know. I just don't think he has the grace, and you don't see the same vulnerabilities in Tio that you do see in Rolly. You know, although to be fair, I also don't see Tio like when he faces power punches. I don't see him get hit clean as often as Rolly does. In order to even compare the chins, and I do remember seeing Tio get hurt by Barboza Jr. too. He was not a big puncher, so that does have to be said. But I think if anyone's gonna land, anyone that has a better chance of landing, I do think it's gonna be Tio. Because I think he's just like a superior technical boxer. And Rolly ain't got the greatest defense either. You know, I won't be surprised if Rolly got knocked out of the left hook. You know, I won't be surprised. Now, you know, Rolly could put his right hand up like he did against Ryan Garcia, but Tio also has a right hand too. He's not like Tio isn't as one-dimensional when it comes to like his offense as Ryan Garcia is. Ryan Garcia be spamming left hooks. You can't land the left hook. What else has he really got? You know, generally, what's he really got? Nothing else. You know. So yeah. So I do think Tia will win. I wouldn't be surprised if he could knock Rolly out. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think Rolly's got the greatest chin out there. But you also can't rule out. You can't rule out. You couldn't rule out Rolly knocking out Tio too. You wouldn't have to rule that out, but I think Tio will land first. But just because I think there could be a knockout doesn't mean it's gonna be a great fight before it happens. No, I don't think that. So, anyways, that's all I gotta say about the fight. It's Menace. I'm out. Peace.